Welcome back to another Overwatch Coach Vod review. Today we will be reviewing, let's see, what do we got here? A Plat 4 support who plays Kiriko and Zenyatta. They've got two codes posted. They've got one that strictly says they only played Kiriko in it, so that's the one we're going to do, because I try to avoid Vod reviewing ones between multiple heroes. That way we can just focus on one particular hero. So, let's see, what do they say here? I'm actually losing my mind trying to get back to Diamond. Before Season 9, I was consistently low Diamond, or at least high Plat. I sweated to get out of Gold after the Season 9 ranked change. Peak Plat 3 this season, but I don't think I could get out of Plat 3 to save my life at this point. Currently Plat 4, but about to derank to Plat 5 on a 6-match loss streak. I've managed to climb some on DPS, my worst role, but support feels so hard for me to even get back to my previous rank right now. I am going to use two different codes because I'm more comfortable on Kiri right now, but I don't want someone to review, or well, I do want someone to review another game I had when I played Zen for some. Okay, yeah, we're gonna do the Kiriko one. Let's see. So, okay, it's Circuit Royale. I was worried at first because my team had trouble, but I told them to try different angles to poke. I was communicating a lot with my team here and tracked ults and cooldowns a lot, so I'm trying not to spoil anything in the game for those that want to watch it. I think overall I played better than I normally do, but I'm sure I probably made a lot of dumb mistakes I don't even realize. Okay. So let's get into it here. Let's skip ahead just a little bit. Okay, so we got our team comps. So this is our Kiriko. Okay, yeah, Kiriko looks like it'll be a good pick here because you can cleanse Discord Orb, you can cleanse Ana, Sleeps, and Antis. So, you know, there's definitely some good here. Honestly, this team looks like it has pretty good synergy for the most part. The only thing I would maybe kind of say is maybe not the Mercy, but, you know, in terms of what you're doing, I'm completely okay with. I think you fit into the team comp pretty well. It's a long-range map, so you could maybe say not the Genji for something a little bit more long-range, but I think Genji can definitely work here, though, especially if it's a good Genji. But yeah, I don't really have much to add to this team comp. I mean, Zen would have worked too, except it would have just put the healing at a really low point for like the Orisa. But judging by what you're going up against, it's just going to kind of depend on these three heroes primarily, unless this Reinhardt's like one of those Reins that gets like super aggressive. But yeah, like I said, I don't really have much to add to this team comp. Usually I do, but on this one, I'm pretty good with it for the most part. So, let's...
4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Powered up. Nice.
See what we got here. Heal your tank. Okay, so when playing Kiriko, like, I've explained this in other VOD reviews, but Kiriko is essentially like a pseudo main heal off heal character. It all depends on who you're playing next to. If you're playing next to a Mercy, your main heals. So that means it's your job to keep the tank going, and it's Mercy's job to pocket the DPS. So like you left your tank right there, and suddenly the Mercy had to back off of whatever they were doing to start peeling for the tank. That should have been you. So again, you kind of leave your tank in a rough spot, and Mercy's got to, you know, kind of get off of what she's trying to do. And then, unfortunately there, you eat one. What I would probably have suggested for right here is if you teleport to your Genji, you're going to have, where's my button here? Say if you teleport into here. Okay, let's say you land right here. Now you can take an angle safely about healing your Orisa, which you had where you were at, but you might be able to take an angle on shooting. I mean, you could shoot at the Rhine safely. You might be able to shoot at the Zen. It depends what kind of angle he takes. And if any of these guys back there happen to try to move up, then you would have a more safer angle at approaching them as opposed to coming out here. And I forgot, I didn't see who killed you, but let's just pretend it was right here. And then, yeah, you just eat one. Who killed you? Oh, it was the Zen. Okay. But let's watch it from the Zen's perspective once. So, you see how, like, everybody's clumped up right in that vicinity? That's a spam box area, basically. So, like, whenever you're trying to push around a corner and you play tight to the corner, like, that's where people are likely going to spam. Like, you know, if somebody's playing back in this doorway right here, they've got this little box to shoot at, and that's it. So you're likely going to get hit. If everybody's trying to push around this corner, you've got this area to shoot at. If they're coming through this doorway, then it's going to be more like that area to shoot at. You know what I mean? So when you're playing close to the door, you know, the walls and stuff like that, you got to try to make your space a little bit better. So I would say play in this door frame. You could have played maybe over in this area too, because then you're at least out of the kind of like the spam box area. You might still get hit there though, but that would be my advice for that death. Okay, so you get rezzed right away. The one good thing I will say about it, at least if you died there, you died in a place that was safe for the Mercy to res you, and then you're back up right away. So that's at least a decent, you know, that's like a silver lining.
What's up? Be careful, Shimada.
So you'd like to see the tank push up more here. And maybe this is what you're trying to communicate to them about taking different angles and stuff like that. Because they're not... What the tank should be doing is aggressively trying to push high ground and clearing high ground.
I'm here.
But do you notice every time you kind of leave your tank to go take an angle, your tank's just like immediately almost dead? So it's like... You're kind of just handcuffed to your tank right now. I think you missed. You were very late on that, Suzu. I kind of get why you were holding it, though, because you're probably thinking, like, the Ana is going to throw, like, a nade or something. But you probably still want to throw that just to keep the tank going a little bit longer. The one thing I would say is I probably would have popped my ult while the tank was still alive, and then you would have been able to get some rapid fire healing off through your ultimate. And then if you still don't win that team fight at that point, I would look at maybe switching either to Moira or Ana, just because it feels like your tank is just a damage sponge that Kiriko can't keep up with. Where like Ana or Moira might have better luck keeping up with it.
I've got you. My ultimate is ready. Join me. Thanks for the boost.
Okay, good cleanse. Yeah, you got way too DPS happy there for no reason. You're trying to hit a basically full HP Reinhardt. Kiriko is not going to do any damage to Reinhardt. At least not while he's got armor. Maybe once he's like down to here, then maybe you go a little bit more DPS. But like your tank is just melting. You needed to heal there. Just turn into a heal bot. Good teleport out. Not sure what that was. You were not in a safe spot there, so I don't know why you would like kind of like AFK to type or whatever you were doing there, but that was not it. Like if you go around this corner off to the left, then you could have done that, or even if you I mean, you didn't have teleport because you just used it, but like if you got into the spawn room, that would be another story. But not where you were at. The team's gonna push. The enemy team.
Done playing around.
Meet your fate. You did not scare me.
60 seconds.
Good kill.
Thank you. I need help. Let me balance you out. Help me move the payload. Our time is up. I'm on fire.
You're getting a little excuse me, you're swapping over to DPS too often. So the formula for Kiriko is essentially a wave of healing and then 1 or 2 DPS shots. I think it's 2 if memory serves me correctly. And then another round of healing. Anything more than 2 and you're ready to throw your next wave of healing out. So try to get into the balance of like a 1-1 or a 1-2. Because if you're only spitting healing out, you've got a little bit of dead time that you could do something. And if you're going 2 over on the DPS side, you've got a wave of healing that could go out that isn't going out. That may need to go out. And in this case, it did because your tank is really struggling here to stay up.
Carried on the wind.
Some of that is on you, some of it's on them. But the one thing I will say is this tank is doing you no favors in the sense of forcing you into a regulatory role of heal botting. But sometimes it just be like that. Your aim needs some work. You should have at least landed a body shot or 2 there, I feel like. I'm pretty forgiving when it comes to Kiriko and her aim because I have moments where I just look ridiculously bad with her aim once in a while. Other times I'm landing headshots left and right. My aim is not very consistent on Kiriko. And her aim, aiming with her is difficult, especially if you don't just play her all the time. Because I play her regularly, but I wouldn't say I play her all the time. So my aim is constantly fluctuating with her. But you advertise to be a Kiriko main. So I would expect you to at least have landed like a body shot or 2 on that soldier there. So the aim needs some work in my opinion.
Be healed. No one can hide from my sight.
Reaction time on getting your cleanse off on the Bastion right there.
Be healed.
Like right here. Yeah, like right when I pause it, that's when I would have been looking to do it. Because the reason I say that is Bastion treat Bastion like a second tank essentially, because he's such a huge hitbox. Bastion and Diva are like two of my biggest pet peeves in terms of healing resources that as a support player, I just know I'm going to have to feed a shit ton of healing towards their way. Torbjorn is another one. Reaper is another one. May can be another one. Sometimes that one's a little depending. But heroes that are just bulkier, that aren't necessarily in the tank. I know Diva is, but like some of those bulkier DPS, as soon as you've got one of those on your team, make sure you're always paying attention to them because they just eat damage like crazy and you got to be on top of it or they will melt and they will be useless. And that right there is one of those things where you could have been a little bit more on top of that.
Hey.
Not sure why you dropped all the way down that early. I'm not saying dropping down was bad, but it felt a little premature. You probably could have got some extra healing off on the Widow. Maybe another DPS pot shot or two on a squishy. Maybe you land a headshot or two and you get a pick before dropping down. But ultimately, you would have had to have dropped down though. So I'm not harping you doing it, just maybe the timing of it. I don't know why you just completely lost track of the Ana. You've got to know that Ana does not have any mobility to her, and you had to have known she was up there and needed to get out. So why wouldn't you help the Ana get out? Now you've just staggered your Ana by not helping them. They might have still died, but you got to at least give them that opportunity to try to get out. Because Ana's not always the easiest character to hit. So maybe if they kind of wiggle around a little bit and you're pocketing them, maybe they get out and you only got to wait for the Widowmaker to respawn and then you can go back in again. But now you got to wait for the Ana.
I'm with you.
Restoring
Okay,
balance.
good on you for not cleansing that because it wasn't necessary. So good on you for that. Okay, if you're in comms, you should have been screaming at these guys to stop taking damage until the Ana's back. I don't. Maybe you did. I don't know, but I'm just saying.
What's up?
Let the Kitsune go.
What is this? Yeah, no, that was not a good ult.
Payload's heading out. The battle ignites me.
Okay, why would you ult in such a tight and restricted space? I mean, why wouldn't you like wait for the fight to get up to like right here and then just like ult up the ramp, or potentially even better, wait for the fight to get like here and then like ult down this road or something. You know what I mean? Like what that was did nothing. You threw your ult away.
Soothing your wounds.
Yeah, not much you could have done there. Under those circumstances.
Time to get clever. Draw strength from nature.
Much appreciated.
60 seconds remaining.
I'm not sure what you're doing here.
Hey.
30 seconds remaining. We're running out of time. Keep attacking. Hear my bell.
私がついてる。
Tactical visor activated.
you're throwing a lot of healing away, and when you're DPSing, you're missing a lot.
Soothing your wounds. I'm on fire! Like a gentle rain. Thanks.
I'm not sure why your Winston just, like, did nothing with Nano there. Without watching from his perspective, it's hard to say what was going on there. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure, but it might have just been a bad ultimate. Bad Nano, I mean, but... The Zen should have died there. Again, the aim on Kiriko is a big weak spot. If you did say this was one of your better games, right? I played better than I normally. Yeah, so if you consider this to be a better than normal game, then I can kind of see why you're dropping. And I'm not saying that to like put you down or insult you, but like your aim is not of a diamond level. You should be hitting more shots than what you're currently hitting.
They have superior numbers.
Let's go.
The other thing I will say too is, you know, Winston creates, let's see, what am I trying to say here? Winston creates a problem for a lot of supports because when he dives in, most supports cannot heal through his shield. And suddenly they become useless because most supports cannot break down his shield dome very quickly. So then you have the problem of, is your team playing inside of the dome or are they playing outside of the dome? And if I play inside of the dome, I'm probably going to get whittled down by the Winston, or I'm going to watch my team get whittled down while they're inside the dome and I'm not. What I will say is when Winston is not getting well countered, Kiriko probably becomes not a good pick because of that. And then you might want to consider maybe a support that does a little bit more damage so that you can maybe help break the Winston bubble down, or maybe a slightly tankier support that can brawl or get in and out of the dome, or keep people in the dome safe. So for example, when I have issues with Winston, I like to go Baptiste and I like to go Brig. If I go Brig, I play outside of the dome and I throw armor packs to the inside, assuming people are playing on the inside. And then if the Winston dives me, I've got some brawling. I'm not saying you can just 1v1 a Winston with Brig. You can't. But you can brawl with the Winston and you can create value around the Winston when he dives in to the rest of your team. Assuming they peel for you to some extent. The Baptiste, on the other hand, he's a little tankier and he can DPS the dome down a little bit better. But, you know, you've got your shift, you've got the lamp, that kind of a thing. And then you can always jump and try to maybe get away if, granted, the Winston might be able to follow you, but just throwing some suggestions out there. Lucio's another one that I'll throw out there too, although he doesn't really do a good job of breaking the Winston dome all that well. But, you know, you can get in, you can get out. You might be able to boop the Winston away or something like that. So some of those people might be worth thinking about swapping to if Winstons become a problem for you in a game like this, where the one thing I will say though for your team, It's nice to see somebody actually went Bastion to try to counter Winston. I swear in my games, when I get an enemy tank going Winston, my DPS do not give a shit at all. They will play Ashe, they'll play Genji, they'll play Widow, they'll play Cassidy, they'll play anything that Winston can just dive in and he just won't care about, like Tracer. It's really and then if I were to play a tank game, after one fight, I'll be up against Bastion, Reaper, Roadhog, and all this other stupid crap. I don't know, it's a pet peeve of mine. Sorry, I'm ranting right now. Okay. I was a little early. I was going to say, as soon as the trance is done, and assuming nobody on your team dies, then ult. You're doing it while the trance is still up, so I would have waited a little bit on that. I was just about to say it too, but then you did it. Okay, good. You were able to get a kill there. That's good.
New champions.
Good cleanse.
Soothing your wounds.
Winston's on point. I would have maybe tried to play a little further back there. Like, right here, I get it. It's overtime. You want to be on the point just in case, like, the Winston dies or something. But I feel like it's really not your responsibility to be touching right now. Winston's there, but he's low. You'd like to maybe see, where is your Bastion? You'd like to maybe see the Bastion be a little closer. Although he is moving up, so yeah, I think, honestly, if you play back a little bit more and just really stay on your Winston for heals. He ended up getting nano too, so I think you would have been totally fine if you played back a little bit and then just kept your Winston going, kept your Bastion going. Let them push the cart here, let them tank the damage, and you just make sure they're getting as much healing as possible, and then you take a pot shot or two when available.
Done playing around.
Round one complete. Score 0-2.
So you got it pretty far at least, but it is definitely winnable for the blue team here.
Ready for battle.
Let's see, what changed? So you've got a Reinhardt now, you've got a Soldier, Bastion, Mercy. Okay, yeah, so same thing's really going to apply here. Let the Mercy pocket the DPS, you pocket the tank. And you probably have to help with the Bastion a bit, but that's pretty much the division of labor there.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. The payload.
Okay, I'm totally cool with doing that. You got out at I'd say a pretty reasonable time there. It would have been nice if your aim were just a little bit more consistent, because if it was, you maybe get that pick. It's a lot to ask to get double headshot on Soldier, but once you get one, you're usually kind of locked into where he is, and I find once you land one headshot, you can usually land two in a row fairly well. It's just about if you can land that first one or not, but either way, though, I like what you did there. I'm totally cool with that. Okay, that spot there, not so much. I felt like you made yourself an easy target, and a better Ashe maybe kills you there. So be careful about standing in a little tight choked area like that for too long, because you're basically standing still there. And there's not much room for error for missing when you're like in a tight spot like that. It's that same spam box thing we were talking about in the same area when you got picked. You know, you're in a tight little box, and I was just about to say, throw your E. Oh god, what is the Rhine doing?
Renewed again.
I don't know what goes through people's heads when they do stuff like that. Like, so I'm about to rant again, but I had a long and not good Overwatch weekend, specifically on Friday. I didn't get to play much Saturday. My Sunday games were better, but my Friday games were like the worst I've ever experienced. Like what was that tank thinking? No one was dead. I don't think. Was anybody dead there? I don't think anybody was. Ash is dead. But that still doesn't suggest, oh, go into their spawn. So it's like, what are you thinking? Going in there. Because if you die, and you being the Rhine in this case, think how far back they have to walk to get back into the fight. Now, if he kills the Reinhardt, how far back does he gotta go? Right over there to right there. Like, it's nothing. Like, he uses his shift and he's back into the fight. Like, it's all you need to worry about right now is the timer and making that race car not move for as long as possible. That's the only thing you should be concerned about. And again, as I say you, I'm talking about your tank. Like, why would you go that deep into their spawn? It's just, what is going through people's minds when they play like this? I mean, it would be different if, like, okay, both DPS and maybe even a support got picked, then maybe go in there just to finish off and maybe get a stagger kill or something. Like, that's different. But, like, when the whole enemy team is still alive, maybe minus 1 DPS, like, come on. It's just, what are you thinking? So, again, sorry, I'm a little ranty tonight. I've had some bad games this weekend. It would have been nice if you could have tried to stay with your Bastion a little bit more there, try to escort him out. Same thing that I picked up on with you and the Ana, kind of in the same vicinity of where you're at now. Like, try to escort them out and see if you can keep them out, because otherwise, again, it goes back to my rant just now. Like, think about how long of a walk back they've got to get back into the fight. So the more you're able to keep somebody alive, escort them out to reconvene for the next team fight, the better. But do it safely, obviously. But I feel like you could have stuck with that Bastion more.
Powered up. Nice. Be healed.
Because, like, you don't want to engage until that Bastion's back. And that Bastion just recently died, so it's going to be a little bit. Okay, so one thing I haven't noticed you doing much, but you did do it there. You were kind of like spamming your damage at a headshot level, and you got a headshot with it. But I haven't noticed you doing much of that. Now, granted, your tank hasn't maybe afforded you the opportunity to do a lot of that, so maybe that's why I haven't seen you do a lot of that, but try to do more of that in your games, because Kiriko's all about the headshots. I'm sure you know that. So, you know, landing a body shot doesn't do much, but those headshots, they do work. 1, 0. Just spam healing on it. Nothing you could do. You did everything you could do there. It was.
Thanks for the heal. This might hurt more than usual.
Yeah, your team's just getting rolled now. And part of that, too, is, like, you guys did kind of pick that fight a little early. Like, I don't think your Bastion was there in the beginning of that fight. I think he got in toward the tail end of it, and then at that point, it's too late.
What's up? Soothing your wounds.
Careful here, careful here.
Restoring balance. I'm on fire.
Good
What
kill.
did we learn?
Thanks for the boost. Hey, Jack Tyson.
Let the Kitsune guide you. Appreciate it.
So,
Jack
rewind just a
Tyson.
little bit. If I'm looking to alt right here, and I'm not necessarily suggesting alting here is not a good idea, but play it back a little bit more when you're on defense. That way, you've got some wiggle room to fall back, and you've got some wiggle room to push with it. Because what happened here, bird's eye view this one. It starts right here. Your team's all right here. And then it goes off that way. So I don't think your team gets a lot of value from this one. So like if you alted like back here and then it goes to like, let's say right here, give or take. Now that incentivizes these guys to move up a bit. And then, you know, now you're actually fighting in the Kiriko ult. Now, I'm going to harp on this a little harsher for you than I might on somebody else. For the reason that you said you were alt tracking in this game. If you were alt tracking in this game, why were you in range to get hammer downed when you've got perfectly good high ground to be at right up here on a character that can wall climb? Just gonna throw that out there.
Termination.
My gift to you. Not on my watch.
This ends now.
You're gonna have to heal bot this fight. Your tank is just soaking in damage again.
I'm with you.
See? You left him. You left your tank again. And that all started with poor positioning to start the fight. So like right here, you're good.
This ends now.
Like right here, this is where everything goes south. And it honestly probably would have just paid to have teleported to your bastion and then kept with the Reinhardt the whole way through. Because from essentially... So from about 1416
I'm with you.
to about 1420. So you gave the Reinhardt about a 4-second window where he was completely alone in the sense of support coming his way. And he's got the whole team blasting away at him. And then he just melts because the Mercy can't keep up with it. So I'm not totally sure that you would have kept him up either, but he 100% is still alive at this point in the fight if you stay with him in that 4-second gap. And that's the point I'm trying to make. Like, give your tank more of an opportunity to do something. I'm not totally sure what he could have totally done there, but he is close to an ult. So, like, one good fire strike, and maybe the enemy Ryan puts a shield down, he hammer downs, and then who knows where this fight goes from there. So, okay, if you see Mercy healing the Bastion, heal the soldier. That way both are getting healed, and then, you know, that kind of a thing. Try to go the opposite of what Mercy's doing. When both are low, that kind of a thing. Obviously, if only the Bastion's low, then that's fine. But
Come on. My gift to you.
okay, good.
My senses are sharpened.
Nice kill.
The breeze brings relief.
Boy, your tank feeds.
Oh, I feel all warm inside. Under my protection. Arigato.
Oh God, he's doing it again. Yeah, I don't. Oh man, I don't like your tank at all. I don't like this Bastion ult either. For anybody that wants to play Bastion, don't ult when the team has absolutely nothing to worry about. Same thing with a Junkrat tire. Like, wait for the teams to be engaged. Let there be some chaos going on, and then break out the artillery, the tire, that kind of stuff. Like, to just initiate, and the whole team can just sit there and wait for it. This should not kill anything. Yeah, and that's a wasted ult. Like, your team as a whole is wasting ults like crazy between you and now the Bastion and. You know, a battle happens once in a while, but that was a very correctable thing to do. Yeah, so, you know, like, this is all way too late. You Suzu'd something that didn't need to be, although I understand why you threw it. You thought he would get hammer down, but honestly, it feels nitpicky because we're seeing the after effects, but in my mind, you should probably be waiting more for the Ana nades than you should be anything else to cleanse. The other thing is your current, well, it's a 4v4, but they have their tank and you don't. So it's not an equal 4v4. So, one, I wouldn't really be looking to ult here, but two, if I was, I would want you to be way further back, so that gives your team more room to work with your ult, because your ult is basically like pushing within their front line to their back line. And I don't think your team's going to get value from this ult. Let's see if I'm wrong, because I've not watched this VOD before, but I don't think this ult's going to do anything.
I've got you. The battle ignites me. Heroes never die.
Yeah, that ult did nothing. And you gotta just heal your Bastion right now. Just heal the Bastion. Heal the Bastion.
This might hurt more than usual. Soothing your wounds.
Like, if you had your ultimate, like, right here, and then you ulted, like, let's say right here that way, then think about what your team could do.
Just needed a dash of mischief. What's up?
I don't like that your tank grabbed that health pack. That would irritate me in a game. That's free alt charge for you that he just took away from you. Like, it's one thing for a tank to get a health pack and it's in the middle of a fight and they're, you know, low or something. That's one thing, but the fight's over. Let your supports heal you for the ult charge.
My gift to you.
30 seconds remaining.
Be healed.
You're too far forward. Teleport away. Teleport away.
Carried on the wind.
Unlucky.
Hey,
Yeah, so we back up on this and let's rewatch this real quick. So again, you're way too far forward here. Like, you should be way, way further back. But like you're taking damage right now from that Reaper because you played too far forward. Like, you're not wall climbing at all, but like, if you go up here and play on top of like this tent thing, you've got a great line of sight on everything and you're going to be pretty safe up here. I mean, the only thing you'd really have to worry about is Sojourn and maybe Ana. But is Zen too, but Zen I think is about to die. Or either way, you'd see Zen coming based on where he's at versus where you'd be up here. But like, you know, playing that far up, like to the cart, like right there to right here, I feel like this area is not really for you. If it were me, I would either be playing like around, well, like, it's kind of like I'm trying to play around this corner, but more from the back end of it and then shooting, healing out, or I'd be playing on this tent, or thereabouts around the tent. Like if I get pushed off the roof of it and then drop down, but you know, and then shoot healing through here or something like that. But you have to survive these fights. You have to be one of the longest living, and you have to be in a position where you're not getting too distracted or pushed by the enemy because of the way your tank is playing and because of what your other support is doing. This Mercy is not going to help you very much on this tank. So, you know, you have to, this tank is making you heal bot, basically. You know, it is, so you got to kind of adapt your play style to that.
carried on the wind.
And then while you're kind of messing around with the Reaper, your tank's just taking a bunch of damage. You said in the, yeah, I see it right here. I was communicating a lot with my team. If you were communicating a lot with your team, you should have told the tank to retreat back to you guys, because you can't, you know, like Reaper's pushing flank, like retreat or something. You know, I whatever your call outs are, I'm not in voice chat anymore because of the reporting system's too sensitive these days. I don't view it worth it. I mean, it's totally worth it to communicate with your team, but the second you say anything somebody doesn't like, they're going to like get irritated with you and report you, and it turns into a shit show match. So I personally stay out of voice chat these days to avoid not losing access to my accounts. Because the last time I was in voice chat, I got banned and Blizzard couldn't even tell me what I said. And then later on, Blizzard went on to say that even the lightest of swears can be bannable now. And I do swear casually, so it's like, it's not worth it. But if you are calming and you are doing call outs and the tank is one of them that's listening, you got to tell the tank to retreat there.
Hey, thanks.
You can teleport out, do it. Yep, good.
Group up here. Restoring balance. Nerve this. Come to me for heals.
I feel like this VOD review's going on forever. But I'm curious, was this something you could have saved? Oops. Where is it? Oh. You teleport away. Where is the tracer? Oh, they didn't get in the room. I feel like that Bastion death is on you, the tracer not so much. I honestly think if you're not used to timing your Suzus on Diva Bombs, that's something you should be able to time fairly well. I think you could have protected your Bastion there.
Come to me for heals.
Your tank has like absolutely no idea what's happening behind them at all. They have absolutely no feel for it. Like, they could have potentially saved the Bastion too if they had a bubble, like 2 bubbles saved up. They probably didn't though. I have absolutely no faith that your tank is using their bubbles intelligently based on what I've seen in this game.
Let the keep shooting.
This ends now.
Heroes never die. Ah, damn it.
Yeah, they're just pressing Q now, and there's nothing you can do about this. Alright. So, number 1, alt use / positioning. Your alt usage and positioning, we covered it as we saw it. 2, your aim. Might have been partly in blame of your tank. Maybe your aim isn't quite as bad as what I saw at times there, but you never got into a rhythm maybe? I don't know, but we called it when we saw it, so I won't go too deep into that. 3. Adapt. Your tank was kind of forcing you into that heal bot role, and I didn't feel like you were adapting quite as well as I maybe would have expected you to. So read how your tank plays a little bit more and adapt to it. Be a little bit more adaptable. And we'll leave it at that. This has been a long enough VOD review, so hopefully that was helpful. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.